Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Sheets, the whole Google suite um, is cloud-based. So everybody, when you hear cloud-based, everybody thinks, well, what the heck is cloud-based? Really, all they're telling you is these are a suite of applications that allow you to access your files through a web browser over the internet. So as long as you have a device that's connected to the internet, you can get to your device. You can get to all of your files. You can get to your slides. You can create slides. You can share things, right? And that is sometimes the hard part because people go, where are my files? Well, your files are in the cloud and somewhere, someplace.
You know how to do Google, don't you?
Yeah.
Sorry? Somebody asking me a question or they just?
I'm doing that in the house.
Okay.
If you can mute your mic, I'd appreciate it. Just unless you have a question, which please.
Your email didn't show up in the chat.
My email didn't show up. Thank you. Maybe because I didn't. Maybe because it didn't hit the. Let's see. Oh, because I'm going to. How about now? I sent it just to one person. How about now? Can you see it?
Yes, thank you.
No, you're welcome. I had it set up just going to one person. So that's my fault. So that's the big thing. So as long as you have a device, and it could be your phone, it could be your tablet, it could be an iPad, it could be anything. As long as you have a browser and you're connected to the internet, you're good to go. Okay. So let me start. I'm going to share my screen. So once I share my screen, I'm not going to be able to see anybody for the most part. So just speak up if there's a problem. If you can't see the screen, if I'm going too fast, let me know. So let's see what I got here. Share my screen. Let's take this down.
Can we at least write if we don't want to speak?
Unfortunately, once I start with the double screen, it's going to be hard for me to see anything. So let me see if I can bring up the. I'm also not a Zoom guy. I don't do a lot of Zooms, so please bear with me as I. There's the chat. Yep, I got the chat up. So if you put something up, I can help you there. Okay. So can you all see my screen? This is Mike. This is Drive.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to show you how I got there. Okay. So normally I come to my screen. I'm in my browser. I'm using Chrome. Chrome works really well with Google Docs. It's really made for Google Docs. Not that Edge, you can't use Edge or something else, but Chrome really works well. So once I get to Google, right, and I have to be on the Google homepage. If I'm on any other page, so let's if I pick another page. I'm just going to switch to a page, the Centerport page I use for my classes. I can't get to my Google Drive until I go to Google's homepage, okay? Which is another thing that new users have issues with. They'll go, I don't know how to get to my Google Drive. I open up my browser and it's not there. So you need to be on the Google homepage. Then we go over to the little squares. I got to keep moving things around because I've got, and these are all the apps that the different places you can go. So as you can see, you have Gmail, YouTube, search, the Play Store. So we want to click on Drive. This is what's going to get us to our Google Drive. All right. So this is my main page of my Google Drive. Just like if you open up my documents, if I were to open up my my documents on your PC. This is my documents, right? Well, for Google Drive, this is my document. And as you can see, this is my school, this is my personal one, I think. Yeah, this is my personal one. And these are all the different files I have. I have files, I have Word file, a bunch of other stuff, and I've got folders, just like anything else, right? And you can, let's see, I'm just trying to move stuff around so I can see. I can change the layout of my files. Put it in a grid. I can put it in what I call more like a details. I like this layout myself because it gives me who owns it, which is me normally, and the last time I modified it, which gives me more of a my documents feel. That makes sense to everybody, right? So let's take a look on the left side. We have my drive, we have share with me, recent files, if I start anything, my trash, and how much storage I have. So right now I'm using 2.9 gigabytes of the 15 gigabytes they give me for free. And then of course, down here, they're always willing to take your money and buy some storage. And what's nice about trash, these are the items left in my trash. They stay here for 30 days. So if I delete something by accident, I can always go back into my trash to go get it. It's like your recycle bin on your PC, your desktop. So that's important, right? So the first thing I always like to show is, let's create a folder, okay? Folders I use obviously for organizing and making things work, making things look good. So click the new button. Now there's several ways to do it. The new button will bring up all of my options. I can right click and get some more stuff. Let's see, I should be able to right click someplace and be a new in here someplace. It's not. Oh, let's just stick with the new. So I want to click a new folder. My folder. And now I have a new folder. Once I come in here, I can start creating files, creating new files. I can move files into it. So now my new folder has my PDF file in it. If I decide I don't really want it there, I can just take it and drag it right back to my drive. And as you can see, you can easily move this around. Sure. Can you ask a question, just not extra noise? You can ask a question, sure. Are you getting noise? Cynthia, you have a question? So it's somebody, it looks like somebody typed something in. You can ask a question, just not extra noise. I don't know what that means. Is there a problem? Hello? No? Like I said, I can't see. Is everything, are we okay?
Yes, you asked people to mute their mics just so there wasn't background noise. But if they have a question, do you want them to type or talk to you?
Oh yeah, you can do either. You can
Okay.
you can
That's
come
what
in
I
and say,
meant.
yeah, okay, no problem. Sorry, I just didn't understand what you wrote there. So, no, please, if you have something you want to ask, please just hey, excuse me, or type it in, whatever you feel comfortable with. Like I said before, I'm sharing my entire screen, so I can't see anybody. I'm kind of talking to the screen, so it's kind of hard. So yeah, please, if you have a question, ask it. I mean, that's what we're here for. I really want you to feel like your questions are getting answered. So but
Are
anyway,
you doing anything with Google Classroom?
am I doing anything with Google Classroom tonight?
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no. I mean, if we have if we have, if I get to the point where we're pretty much done and, everybody's, I kind of covered everything I wanted to cover and you got a quick Google Classroom question, I can certainly answer it if I can. But this is mostly, like I said, basic Google Docs, sharing and, creating a Google Doc. So, fortunately, no, this isn't a classroom. PD. All right, so you can move files around, you can create new files. So, let's say I just created a file, I want to remove it. All I did was right click on the file and I can remove it. Just that easy. So I did something like, oh, I didn't want to do that. I can delete forever, or I can just restore it right back. Like your recycle bin on your desktop. Okay. So pretty straightforward. Does that make sense? Anybody have a question about that? Like, because I don't want to move on to the next thing if somebody's got a real question. All right, great. So that's my drive. And notice the sub menu, I can also search my drive by looking at from the side. So if I wanted to run up my blackjack game, I can do that. And I can go through the directory tree that way. So that's another way. So I can stay on my drive and say, oh, let me see my tree. Oh, this is where I want to be. We're in AFT class. I'm in videos or whatever. So I can search my directory tree another way. Okay. So that's basically my drive. It's that simple. Any questions? If we're all good there, I can try, we can move on to the next topic. Share with me.
I have a question.
Sure.
How can you make your drive to be private so not everybody can see it?
Well, my drive is private. Not everybody can see it. Are you having issues with other people seeing your drive?
Yes.
How so? I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. How so? What's happening? Tell me what's happening.
When I write a document
Uh-huh.
and I put it there, everybody can go and see it.
What kind of share do you have on it? So you mean
my computer is brand new, so I just got it out of the package and I'm new with this,
Right.
so I can put any setting.
Is it a school
Yes, it is a school
account?
Yes, it is.
So
yeah, there might be the share on the school account might
Okay, so
be
that's
that everybody can see it.
So everybody in the school can see it, whatever I put there.
Well, I'm not, like I said before, I'm not sure what the share is on the folder because I'm going to show you something in a minute about
Okay.
how sharing works. But yeah, no problem. I would think it would have to be the sharing privileges on the folder or the account itself. And this is where it starts to get a little confusing to people, and I can understand why. Because it took me some trial and error to figure out what the heck is going on, to be honest. So, and I'm going to give you some quick demos here about how the share works. But yeah, you would have to check to see what folder you're saving it in, if it's your entire drive or is it a folder you're putting it into. And Cynthia is correct. If it is a school account, maybe they set up the share that you can't do anything with it, because I know with my school account, it's managed by somebody else. So I'm kind of stuck by their rules. So which drives me absolutely batty, but that's a whole nother discussion. So let's get back into this. So let's look at shared with me. As you can see, I've got a lot of files. I'm a football guy, so I get a lot of this stuff, and this is all files that were shared with me. Somebody shared them with me wherever. Most of this, as you can see, was shared by my principal, or Dave Teleska is my principal. And you can see the different stuff I've got from other people. What that means, when a file is shared, someone is allowing me to see their file. This might be happening with you. When you put that file in, somebody's given everybody privilege to see it. So let's look at this one. It says pod. Okay. Pods is owned by David Teleska. So David Teleska is my principal, and he has shared this with me. He owns the file. It's his file. He can take it back anytime he wants. It would disappear from this directory. And this is where it gets very confusing to people. All right, so let's do a small little demo here. All right, so as you can see, I've split my screen now. I have two browsers open. They both say Google Drive, okay? The one on the left of your screen is my personal email. So I've got a bunch of files and stuff. The one on the right is another email that I use for miscellaneous stuff. So what I've done is I've got two different users. So the one on the right, I'm going to, it's going to get, as you can see, there's nothing in the drive. And I've just clicked on share with me, and there's nothing in there. So let's share a file. So I created a folder called SVFT class. That's for tonight. And I've got two files in it. By the way, this one here, I'm going to, please remind me, I'll put this link into the chat so you guys can grab this file. It's got some tips in it. There's tons of it out there. I found one. It's got some quick little hacks and things you can use that'll help you get started on your journey in Google Docs. But let's share it. So I want to share it. So to share a file, I right click on the file, and you'll see it says share, right? And it also has a get link. These two are what you're going to use to try to share something with somebody, right? So the get link, let's look at that one first. Share with people or groups. I've not added anyone. And I've set up, there's different permissions. This one says anyone with the link can view this, right? So anyone on the internet with this link can view it. So I'm going to copy the link, and let me share it with you guys right now in the chat. Hold on, gotta give me a second. Where's the chat? There's the chat. So I'm gonna put this in here. So now when you click on that link, everyone, you'll get my file that's on my drive. And then you can, and I'm going to show you how you can actually save it to yours and copy it and save it so it becomes yours. So in case I delete it, it won't go away on you guys. But that's for you guys. All right, so let's get back over here. It says anyone with the link can be a viewer. You can be a viewer, a commenter, or an editor. So there's sort of, viewer means I can only view the file. I can't make any changes to it. You can't make any changes to the file I own. That's my permission. And I also give you permission to copy that file so you can have one for yourself if that's what you want. If you're a commenter, then you can only make comments on the file. You can't change the file's contents, but you can make comments on it. And then me as the owner and editor, I can then decide, okay, I'm going to take that comment or I'm going to ignore that comment. And then there's editor. That allows you to do anything. You can go in, you can edit it. We both can be in the file at the same time. We both can be making changes at the same time. And I'll show you how that works in a minute also, okay? So The safest thing is always a viewer. You give somebody view privileges, they can't make changes. Unless the person, you want them to make a change, and they make a change. But this is how you would send a link to somebody to share a file. Let me bring up the chat window in case somebody has a question. So far, so good? Any questions about that? Okay, good. Like I said, I can't see anything, so let's go done on that. So let's go back. Now, let's look at share. This is where you can do some stuff. Because when you're sharing it, I'm giving people privileges, okay? So let me put this over here. So I want to share this document with the guy on the right. So that happens to be the email address. You'll notice now it says I'm giving TVNH Reg editor privileges. Once again, editor, viewer, comment. I'm going to give them editor privileges so you can see what's going on there. I can also set a notify. If I click notify, it's going to send an email to that email address and say, hey, I'm giving you privileges to edit this. I want you to do whatever. In this case, I'm not going to do that because I just don't need to do that. So now I'm going to give this email address privileges on this file. So I'm going to share it. And what should happen is you see it now on the right side of the screen. I have now given the right side of the screen editor privileges. So now that guy can now double click on this and they can go into the screen. And I know it's kind of small, so I'm gonna make it large. And they can now edit the file. Right? Sorry about that. So as you can see, this is the file. They now have editing privileges. So now this guy can go in here and change this to sorry about that. The top 100 great Google Docs tips for students and educators. Okay. So starting to items will be automatically okay. Okay, so now you can see that this guy, TVNH Reg, has made a change to that file. By the way, those changes get automatically saved. If I did that correctly. So now let's go over here. And as you can see, I am the owner of the file. It's me. If I go here, and let's change this to this. See who the owner is? It says me, Tommy Viola. I'm not the owner. This guy's the owner. And it was shared by this guy. Does that make sense? We good with that? Which is important. Okay, I didn't see something in the chat. Am I supposed to be able to actually get this file and put it somewhere right now? We can do that in a minute. Yes, you can. You should be able to open that up and see it. You should be able to view it. If you haven't, we'll do it together, Deborah, and we'll try to make sure everybody can get it. Okay, that sound good? But you should be able to click on it and open it up in your browser. If you're not, then I tested it. It should work. So, but we'll give it a give me a minute. We'll kind of do it together. Okay. Great. Okay, fantastic. So as you can see, Tommy Viola is the editor. So let me double click on this guy. And as you can see, the changes I made in the right side show up on the left side. That's important because there's editor privileges. I am now, somebody else can edit my file. So I'm going to open up, and I know this can get a little crazy seeing things going back and forth, but the problem becomes I only have the one PC. So if it's getting confusing, please tell me and I'll do my best to kind of show you what's going on. But see the cursor here? That's me over here, Tommy Viola. If I go over here, unfortunately, I'm the same name, so let's see. Let's click over here. Considering they're both mine, they have both my name on it. But see, there's Tommy Viola there. So as you can see, one side is up there, so let's put in. So you can see what's going on here. And if I click in here, and I start doing this. So you can see that I'm simultaneously in the same file, making changes, and they're both live. So you can be somewhere else. You know, you can be in a different school, you can be wherever, or in the next room. And you can, just give me a second. All changes saved to drive. Okay. All right, so as you can see, we can go at the same time. And I'm also seeing that all you guys got into it, which is cool. So I can see at the top, all you guys are in it right now, everybody who has it open. So it's a pretty good collaboration tool, and I believe there's a chat in here. I don't do a lot of it, but there's a chat in here. So oh, that's comment. I think there's a chat in here. I think we can actually chat with each other. Not sure. Show chat. There we go. So we can actually be chatting in this document while we're editing it together. So you don't even have to have something up. You can be talking to each other through the chat, and you can be making changes simultaneously. So that's the power of Google Docs right there. And we'll get there in a minute about
You've got mail.
I don't think I got mail. Somebody got mail. And by the way, Control Z is your friend. Control Z is undo. So I just undid all my changes. So I'm going to go back here. And let's go back here. So as you can see, I have the ability to make a change. I have the ability to share a file. You're all viewing the file, right? And let's say you really like this file, and it's in here with share with me, right? Since I had that question, let's bring that up. Let me bring my chat back up so I can see. I think I got a chat here. How can you edit on a survey if you need to tally the numbers on the doc? Dorothy, do me a favor. Can you open up your mic and kind of expound? I don't quite understand what you're asking. Are you there?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What are you asking?
If you have a survey, so you have a document that's a survey that you need to rate it, 5, 3, 0.
Gotcha.
And
You would want to use a Google form for that.
and you don't want to change it to a Word document, but you want to keep it in the original format.
Well, are you taking, when you're saying you want to take a survey of something, like
No.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure I understand.
No, it's a survey that need you to rate it. Say you have a survey and it asks you to rate it, whether it's a 5, 3, or 0.
Right.
And on that document, you don't want to change it to a Word doc, but you want to keep it in its original form.
Well, it sounds to me like you really want to use a Google form for that. Because Google Forms really work really well with that. You can set up last year before the COVID hit, we sent out to the senior class, where would you guys want to go for your senior trip? Do you want to go to Six Flags? Do you want to go to Lake Compounds? Do you want, and they had 1, 2, and 3. And then each student picked where they wanted to go. And then the responses were sent back to the original, to the advisors. And then they were able to look at the responses and determine which place they wanted to go, which obviously they didn't get to go anywhere. That's something you're trying to do?
Well, not actually. The form is already created, but you have to but you know, like you have to rate it what, you know, like a 5, whether it's a 5,
Right,
sort of like a shooting.
it sounds to me like that's what you want, because Cynthia is correct. You can send the responses right to a Google Sheet. You can keep track of it. I think that's what you're asking, because I'm really not quite clear, because I wouldn't do it in a Google Doc. A Google Doc is more of a
Oh,
document. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, uh-huh,
And Google Forms are very, very simple. They're just super simple to make up. And you know, the responses just come right back. And like she said, you can save them in a Google
like if
Sheet.
you have to, like if you have to edit or add to that document.
Well, if you got a document, then you're creating the document, and then you want a commenter or another editor to make some changes to it. That's sharing a document. So let's say I'm creating a document for, you know, whatever, the COVID policies, and I send it to 3 other people to get their comments and their thoughts on the COVID policies. Then they're going to make their changes, and then you get it back, and then you can incorporate, you know, they're already in there, or they can make a comment on one of the policies. You can just make them a comment and say, I think I'd rather change this to something else. And then you can make the decision whether you're going to take that or not. Well, does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
Because if you have a document and you want somebody to comment on the document, then you want them to comment only. And so you make them a commenter instead of an editor. And then they can add a comment to a section and say, I like this, I don't like that. And then you can make the decisions whether you want to incorporate those comments or move on. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm, yeah,
Yes. So that's kind of the same kind of deal, what we're doing here, when you share, but you have to share. So when you create your share, you would look at it and say, instead of editor, you would make it a comment. So then the commenter can only comment on what's in there and not change anything, because you may not want that person to change your original document. They may
yeah,
say, you know, I don't want you to change anything, just comment on it. And then let's open it up over here. And then you can add you can put comments in. Grammar suggestions, right? No, that's not right. I don't do a lot of commenting. Open up the comment history. So here's your history notifications. I can add a comment, you know.
okay,
This is great, you know.
mm-hmm,
So now I'm not changing anything. I'm just commenting on it. And then you can go back and look at the comments and go, oh, they liked it or they didn't like it. I can make this change. I can make that change. So maybe
right,
that's something you're talking about. Yes?
yeah,
Maybe?
yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, good. So yeah, you can do that, and it works pretty well. So, I mean, and an editor can also comment, but if you want them just to comment, then have them just comment, not, you know, not be an editor, because it all depends on what you want that person to do. Now, you notice I had opened that window over here,
Mm-hmm,
and I did not make a change, and I didn't want to make a change. So, and I don't like to press done sometimes, just in case I did something I didn't want to do. So pressing the escape key, that ESC, will get you out of that. And escape works a lot in a lot of different places where it'll just escape out and nothing has changed. So it's a good way to, that's a good practice to have, not to hit done all the time. Because I've hit done and I've made a change and didn't realize I made a change. I'm like, oh, that's good. I really screwed that up. So we've shared this document. I'm done with whatever they're going to do. So let's unshare. Let's fix it so I don't want them to have it anymore. So I can go share. I go back to share. Now you go here, and if you keep scrolling down, I got 2 more options that we've never seen before. One says make owner, and one says remove. So let's say, and let's pick on, I think it's Cynthia. Cynthia, I want you to take this over. I don't want it anymore. I can make you the owner. And now it's out of my hair. I can push it off to you, and then it's yours to deal with, right? So I've given up ownership, and now you own it. Now you can do whatever you want. You can unshare it, you can share it, you can change it, whatever it is you want to do. Or I want to remove your share privileges. If I click on remove, it's taken you out of my list and then it says here pending changes, right? So I've made a change, but I haven't saved this change yet, right? So if I hit the escape key, it'll ask me, do I want to discard the unsaved changes or do I want to cancel? If I discard, nothing has changed. So I got a way out. Let's say I had 5 people, I deleted them all, and then I went, oh, I didn't mean to delete that guy. I don't remember who it was. I do that a lot. So that escape will get you out. It'll save your backside. All right. So let's go back here. I'm going to remove it, and now I'm going to save it. So now, if it's working correctly, he's no longer has a share. He no longer has a share, and it should disappear. I love when it doesn't do what I want it to do. It's still there. So did I do it wrong? Share? No, I took it. He shouldn't. He should not have that file anymore. But this thing worked like a champ when I was testing it this afternoon. Let's see what happens. Well, I still got access to it. I'm not sure why I got access. It says Tommy V owns it. You're not on it anymore. Yep. There we go. Let me stop sharing for a minute. Okay. What you just saw is something that's happened to me my entire life, my entire professional career. Whenever I have to make a presentation in front of an audience like yourself, something's not going to work. When I was practicing it today in front of my friend and one of my students, everything worked so well. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. So now I feel like a complete idiot. So let me go back to sharing. Let me figure out what I did wrong. But what should have happened is you should not have had it. It should stop. You should have left your access to it. So what's going on? Share it with me. All right, so. Oh, I think I know what happened. Because I shared it with the link. I think that's what happened there. Because it said collaborators. But that should not have. Let me try. Let me verify that what I just said is true. Because I want to because that should not have happened. Let's go. Let's find something. Let's go to class stuff. So I'm just going to create a file. Let's go back to my drive. So might as well show you how to create a new file, a new Google form, Google Doc. So I'm gonna click on new, or in this case, I can right click in the on the web page, and it gives me the same menu. I'm just going to do a Google Doc. Now I can do from a blank document, or if I click on from template, these are all the different templates that are available to you. So if you're writing a business letter, you're doing a informal letter, personal letter, pet resume, work, whatever. There's a lot of stuff out here. And if you go online, I'm sure you can find a whole bunch of other templates for Google Docs. Okay. So new Google Docs. Sorry, I didn't want to do that. New Google Docs, and then blank document from a template. I'm just going to do from a blank document. Something simple. I'm going to give it a name. Test doc. All right. And as you can see up here, see where it says saving, save to drive? As I type, it automatically saves for me. That tells me I can move it from one place to another. Right now, it's showing me it's an SVFT class, and there's my drive. I can move it to somewhere else if I want to. I'm just gonna leave it there. Save, see, I can see my status. This document is ready for offline use. If I wanted to do it offline, you can save things to your drive and do things offline. So I'm just gonna type in, this is a test, okay? So you'll see it saving, and I'm done. Come back here, test doc. Here's my test doc, this is a test. That's simple. So you can open up, create new, and you can start writing your new document just that quickly, okay? Oh, I see I've got some chats, sorry about that. Okay, that's okay, it happens to the best of us. Thank you so much, I appreciate that, Anna. You're doing just fine. Thanks, good recovery. Well, you screwed up as many times as I have. You learn how to recover pretty quickly. I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. So let's try to share it again and see if it works. So let's hold on. I'm going to share. I'm going to make it restricted only, so only people with link can open it. I'm going to send it to me again. I'm not going to notify. I'm going to share. So it seems to work one way really well. So here's our test doc. Let me open it up. Test doc, this is a test. Pretty straightforward. So now, and you can see it's shared. It gives me a little icon that says I've shared it. So I know it's shared if I forgot I shared it. But I want to unshare it. So I'm going to share it. And I'm going to try to remove it. Let's save it. It's not shared anymore. And it's still there. Ah, there we go. Ah, see, I knew it was supposed to work like that. So I think it's because I shared the link with you guys. Plus I restricted it. So I only want you to look at it. So as you can see, it's gone, right? So for a minute so I can look at you guys and actually see faces. So as you can see, I can create, I can share. That can be very confusing when you really don't know what the heck's going on. So before we go any further, because I want to show you the next thing. Any questions? Is it making sense to you guys?
How do I split a screen on Windows 10?
I'm sorry? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
She
Okay.
asked, how do you split a screen?
Oh, how did I split a screen? Okay. Actually, what I did there was, thank you for clarifying. All I did there was, especially if you're running Windows 10, you can open up multiple windows. That has nothing to do with Google Docs, by the way. That's a Windows 10 thing. I'll bring it back up. Let me share the screen. I'll show you what I mean. Right now, these are just two windows, right? And let's open up a third window. So there's my documents window. So it's called snapping. It allows me to snap, right? So I can snap it to the right. I can take that and let's say I don't want it to be all the way up. Hold on. It's not going to let me do it. I can set, oh, great. Now. Okay. So now, that's not going to let me do that. So now all I'm doing is just ranging windows. So I can have multiple windows open at any time. That's just, so I've got two browser windows open and a document. My document's open, but my files weren't. So,
Hi.
So it's okay. So that's, I mean, that's all I'm doing. That's a Windows thing. That has nothing to do with Google Docs. So, does that answer your question? Does that help at all? I'm gonna go with yeah, 'cause I didn't hear anything, So let's say you get really good at this. So,
Wait a minute,
I'm sorry,
you ready?
ready? Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Okay, so let's say you get really good at this and you're doing a lot of sharing. And you've got files you want to share and then take back. So let me pick on Anna because she was nice when she said I was doing okay. So thank you very much. So Anna, you get really good at this, right? I'm watching you nod your head because you are getting really good at this. I can tell already. So, and you decide, hey, I'm sharing a lot with Dory, who on my screen is right next to you. So you and Dory start working side by side, and you're creating documents and you're editing documents, and you find yourself saying, I'm sharing, I'm not sharing, I'm sharing, and you tend to forget which files you shared with who sometimes, and it can be a pain in the butt. So Google does something that I think is pretty cool. It allows you to share a folder, and whatever you put inside the folder takes on the permissions of the folder. So let me show you something. Let me go back. Let me share my screen. So I create, now mind you, let's take a quick look. I've got 3 files in here right now. None of these files are shared other than this one here. I gave you guys the link so you can get to it. As you can see, it's still shared. That's why it didn't come off when I unshared it, because I gave you a link to it. That's why that didn't unshare. These other 2 files do not have shared next to them. So you can't get to them. And my buddy on the right can't get to them. So let's create something that's going to allow me to manage my sharing. So let's say I have one for Anna. And I have another one for Tom. So now I've got 2 different folders that I use for sharing. Now, I don't have Anna's information, so that's just there for what it is. But let's share this one with my buddy on the right. Not going to notify him. I'm going to share it. And on this side, you will see a folder called Tom. So now, whatever I put in that folder, Tom will be able to see it. So I'm going to put the test doc into the folder. Change who has access. This item will be visible to anyone who can see Tom. I want it, move it. So now what I've effectively done is I've now shared test doc with Tom and anybody else who has that. And if I wanted to put something into Anna's folder that I wanted Anna to take care of, I would just put it in there. Once I'm done, once I say, okay, we're good, thanks for all the help, I can go inside of Tom and I can take it out. Now watch what I do. I just drag it over to my drive or SVFT class, and I just moved it, and it's just, now it's going to tell me that guy's not going to see it anymore. It's gone. See what happens? I'm still in Tom, and it's gone, and now it's back into my main folder. That makes sense, guys? That makes sense? And that's a nice, quick way to thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Yes, my sister? Who's Dory's your sister? Okay. Well, it's good to know. You guys are right next to each other on my screen. This, nice job. But seriously, that's a quick way to be able to manage who you're sharing things with quickly. So if it's in her folder, she can see it. When you take it out of her folder, she can't see it anymore, right? So now somebody asked me a question. How can I save this? Because I want to keep it just in case you take it away from me. Well, let's do that. Back to sharing. So let me put this back inside of Tom. So now I have it in there. So now I can look at it here. I'm going to open up test document here. I'm going to open up test document here. So now they're both open. The left side is the owner. The right side is the person I'm sharing with. And as you can see, it says who the other person is in, right? So Tommy Viola TV NH Reg and Tommy Viola T my other email. Okay. So now I make changes. Let's do this. Oops. Type either. I'm making changes on that side. And I click into this window. As you can see, as I'm making changes, they both see it. All good. And that's what happens when you share. So let's close that up. Let's close that up. But now I want to save a copy of this because I know he's going to take it away from me. So I got a chat. Let me see what's going on. How about if you only want Tom to see it? Right now, only Tom can see it because I've only shared it with Tom, the guy on the right-hand side, right? So whatever I put into that folder, I'll go back to that folder. Now, if you look on the left side of the screen, you'll see I click share, and this tells me what's going on. Share with people in groups. So right now, Tommy Viola, me, on the left-hand side, I am the owner, right here, the owner. And Tommy Viola and TVNHREG, I've shared it with him and he's an editor. So that's what you see on the right-hand side. That makes sense? Does that answer your question? Yes, no?
I have a question.
Okay.
When you're sharing that, they're sharing with you. You can, while they're sharing, you can type and it can change it.
Right. So exactly correct. So let's go with the left hand. The left hand guy shared it with the right hand side, right? So that means we both can get access to it at the same time, and we both can make changes to it at the same exact time. And the cursors will tell you where you are. So let's go back when I say cursors. Well, I'm going to go back in here. And let me go back over here. All right, so as you can see, at the top, it's telling me who's in it. Right now, there's just two people in it. Myself and myself. I'm talking to myself, I've been doing it for years. So I'm on this side, so I'm on the right-hand side. And
Right.
see how this cursor changes?
Right.
That shows me where the right-hand side is, right? And I mean, the left-hand side is, and then I come over here, and this is showing me where where the right-hand side is. So we can see where each other is. So we can see we're not typing in the same spot, right? Fortunately, I can't be in both windows at the same time. So if you shared it with somebody else and you both had it open, you would see the cursors in different places. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So my question is, even though they're typing, is there a way that you, even though they're
Did I lose you? Hello?
sharing it with you, is there a way you could keep them from, like, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So if I wanted, because I know the teacher always sharing their stuff, but it's like, I can't make no changes because they're already typing it.
It all depends on your, so you're saying you're a para, right?
On it. So is there a way for me? Yes. And I
Right.
noticed they do that. They'll share with you, but you cannot do nothing with the document once they share it.
Right,
Because it's-
they gave you permission as a viewer. So if we
Right.
go back, we go back to the sharing.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna just use this one as an example. So we go back to the sharing, and if I want to share, I'm not gonna notify them, but I clicked viewer. So that's what they must be doing. They must be giving you view only. So they're allowing you to see it.
That's it. And they're the only ones with the power to change it or not change it.
That's correct. They're just giving you viewer privileges, not editor privilege. That's what's going on
Okay.
there. Does that make sense? So, and there's usually, if they give you viewer, there's usually a place in the document that you can request to edit, and we'll do that in a second, so I can show you. So you can, it'll also help you realize that you're a viewer only. But I got something else here. It says, I make slides where I want people to have access and save a copy to make changes, but not change mine. How do I do that? The way you can do that, and we'll do it, I'll do it right now. So we're done with these documents, right? We close that up. That's a good question. Very good question. So I'm gonna take, and I'll leave that in there. Not a big deal. So let me give this simple slide. Let me share this, okay? And I'm gonna share it with myself. I'm gonna send that. I'm gonna notify them. I'm gonna send it. Okay. So notice you don't see anything, right? That's because what folder am I in? I'm in Tom. It should be in shared with me. So there it is. Another thing you have to be careful about, where am I? Am I in the wrong folder? And that can be a problem for people. So let me open this up. And this is just a simple slide I made, right? So I can only view this file. Oh, I guess I didn't do that right either. Once again, I've come through. That should have only been a view. Oh, I made it an editor. Well, that's wrong. So let's see if that changed it. Okay, see where it says view only? So I made them view only. So now I can't make any changes to this document. I can see it, but I can't make any changes. I can request to edit, like I can go back to the owner and say, hey, I really like to edit this. And they can deny or they can accept it, right? Or, and this is what was asked, I believe I can do this. Make a copy. And it's sitting in it's now sitting in my drive. But did you see what happened there? Oops. And it didn't save it in that subfolder. It saved it in my drive. So this is shared with me. These are files and folders that are shared by somebody else. As soon as I made a copy, look where it put it. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second. It put it into my drive. So why do you think it put it into my drive? So I'm going to pick on somebody because I'm a teacher and I like to do that. So my friend Anna. Are you still there, Anna? Go ahead. Unmute your mic.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, so I just saved, I was asked the question, can I give somebody a file that I want them to save and not change mine? So I took that slide and I gave it view only privileges. Then that person can see it. They can look at it but can't change it. Then they said, well, I want to save this. So I made a copy of it. But it did not save it and shared with me. It went to my drive. Why did it go to my drive?
She didn't save it.
I did save it. I'll share my screen again. You'll notice it's sitting in my drive. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna do it again. Here's shared with me. I have two items in shared with me. If it's in shared with me, it should automatically tell you, I don't own it. Somebody's sharing it with me. This is part of how Google Docs can drive you crazy. You don't own anything in shared with me. I got something in the chat.
So
Okay,
I had
no
a
problem.
question.
Uh-huh.
I had a question. So once you saved it, once the document was saved to your drive, what, are you able to open it in your drive? Are you able to?
Okay, so
make
let
changes to
me, yeah, all right, and I think I can answer your question with this. So right now, I have these folders and shared with me. I don't own them.
Or it went to your
Okay.
drive because you copied it.
Very good, because now I own it. I own it now.
Right.
So right now, this is owned by Tommy Viola, the guy on the left. I'm going to make a copy, creating copies of intro to Google Drives in my docs. Now I go to my drive, there it is. Who owns it now? Me, I own it. So if it's in my drive, I own it.
And now
Now-
you can edit it, right?
Now I own it, right? So now I can make any change I want to it. But anything I make here does not show up on the left. Notice it? Does that make sense? Because the file on the right I own, and I can make any changes to it. The file is shared with me is the file that the other guy owns, and then anything we do there will any changes that are made there, they will see. I got a question. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, no problem. If you got to leave, I
Now he
totally
owns
understand.
your, now
Go
he
ahead.
owns the shared class. Now he owns the shared doc that you shared with him. because
Right,
he
so now-
duplicated it.
Right, I own copy of introduction to Google Docs. I own it. The shared with me copy is over here. So now if I open that up and now I'm still sharing. So I wanted to change this to Google Docs and Sheets. What happened? Whatever I made the changes on the left, the shared one, that user can see it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the key difference. As soon as you make a copy of it, you own it. Now, whatever the owner does, you will not see it. And whatever you do, the owner won't see it because you own it. That makes sense? That could drive people crazy.
So
That's
I had a question. So what you're saying is that once any document is within your drive and you're saving it and you're making changes, no one can see that. But when you're sharing and you have access to being able to make changes, then the other person on the other side sees it. Does the
Correct.
group see it also when you make changes and stuff
It
like that?
depends if everybody, if like, let's say I have a file and I gave you all
Gotcha.
viewer to that file and we're all in it together, whatever I'm doing, you'll all see it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
All right, so what you want to do now is that file I shared with you, the 100 great hacks and stuff, you make a copy of that. It'll go into your My Drive. Now, if I ever delete it off of My Drive, it'll get out, it'll go away from your shared with me folder, but it'll stay in your drive and you'll always have that file. That is the key right there to Google Docs and how Google Drive works. If you understand those basic sharing concepts, you won't be sitting there like this going, I don't know where my files are. And I've watched my wife do this a lot. She's downstairs right now cooking. I can hear her chuckling. I'm like, where are my files? I don't know where they are. Because you got to know how to look. You got to know where to look and what you're trying to do. That makes sense, guys? So do you guys feel comfortable with Google Drive and the sharing and how that happens? Anybody have any questions in that? Anna, you're doing a hell of a job, I gotta say. I always pick on one and you're the person I'm picking on because you're right next to me in my screen. You're doing a heck of a job. But all kidding aside, does anybody have any questions about what I just did? I know in the short hour we've been here, it can get confusing. So really, any questions at all, take anything before we actually open up another, an actual Google Doc and make some changes and put some headers in and do stuff like that. All right. I thought I was a hell of a teacher. I get something better than I thought. All right. Yeah, I got a high opinion of myself. I do. All right, let's go. Let's finish this up because I know there's a football game I want to watch, and I know there's an adult beverage somewhere in this house I want to drink, and I'm sure you guys want to do the same thing. All right, so I'm going to close this up. I don't want this anymore. Remove that. Okay, so I'm in SVFT class, and let's create a new doc. I'm going to hit new, Google Docs. So now I'm in a document. Like any other document, I'm going to give it a name. So my doc. Oops, my dot. And now it's like any other. If I wanted to, I've got my text styles. If I got normal, I want headers. I mean, whatever it is I want. So let's make a title, and let's align it to center. This is my doc, and there's my title. If I wanted to change the color, God knows it's got to be somewhere. Hate when I do that. Text color, let's change it to red. Notice, just like anything else, whatever I select will change. So I can select a lot of or little, and it'll change. And you'll notice also what color is the text color? It's back to black because that's the default. Now, if I wanted to change it and keep it red, I can do that. So just like anything else, this is a paragraph. And notice what happened. What happened when I typed, other than I got fat fingers? Anybody? Auto-corrected for me.
You misspelled.
I misspelled and it auto-corrected for me. And it underlined it for me so it knows, it tell me, hey, you're an idiot. You really don't know what you're doing. So this is a paragraph. It is very short. So I have a paragraph down, and I really don't have much to say here. Let's see. So again, editing suggestions, and as you can see, I can put in I can insert an image. I can highlight. I didn't highlight at all. What happened to the highlight? Question. I just love autocorrection. So do I, because if it wasn't for autocorrection, I'd look like a complete fool. And I'm really good at that too. So, and it's like anything, I can bold. I can italicize. I can underline. All right. So let's say I'm doing a lot of typing. I say, you know what? I've got a lot of code, a lot of whatever. And I want to copy formatting the same. So anybody ever used a paint format? So what I did was I selected what I want to copy and then copy the format from anything in my document. If I want to make everything look like that, I can make it look like that, pretty simple. If you've never used a paint formatter, I use it all the time. It's pretty awesome. So you can make a lot of changes. And once again, Control Z is your friend, which is what you see here, undo, redo it. So if I undo something and I need to redo it back because I made a mistake, it'll remember, it'll go back and remember. Once again, spelling and grammar checker, that's pretty normal. If I want to print, I can zoom in, so I'm slowly going blind because I've been doing this for too god darn long. So I make things big. Then, of course, you've got your file. And these are all the things you can do. I can share it from here. I can create a new document from here. I can make a copy from here. I can email from here as an attachment. I can download it. And this is really cool. If you want to download your document, let's say you want to email this to somebody. And I do this a lot. And I'm also the web coordinator for the school. Whenever I put a document, I just put it as a PDF. Nobody can change a PDF. So somebody wants to download a PDF, they can't change it. They really can't. They can't edit it. It's really hard. So let's say you want to email as an attachment a file, or save it on your hard drive, on your local drive. If you save it as a PDF, that allows you to send it to people, and you can they can't change it. Print it out, send it out. So it allows you to save it in different formats, which is very convenient, especially if you want to save it as a web page, you want to save it as a rich text, you want to save it as a Microsoft Word document because you're using Microsoft Word somewhere else. Version history, it'll remember how many different versions you had. If you want to rename the file, add a shortcut to your drive so you can always get to it, move it to trash, publish it to the web. A bunch of good stuff. Edit, the edit menu, pretty self-explanatory. Undo, redo, cut, copy, paste. By the way, the control, what you see on the side, these are all keyboard shortcuts you can use to, like I said, Control Z is your friend. So if I wanted to copy this, I highlight it, Control C, I come down here, Control V, I pasted it. All right. I want to cut it, highlight it, Control X, Control V, paste it. So as you become a power user, and I've been doing this for so darn long, I use keyboard shortcuts all of the time. Another good thing is find and replace. If you guys don't use find and replace, learn how to use it. It's great. So if I wanted to find every word that says doc, now we'll replace it with document. Replace all. Let's see, work. There you go. So if I had that in God knows how many places, I can just do it, no problem. So that's a great feature. I've used that. That's gotten me out of a lot of jams. Find and replace, select all. And by the way, select all is also Control A. I can cut everything. I can paste it all back. So it's pretty powerful when you want to do something like that. View, print layout, what mode you're editing, suggesting, viewing. And you can play around with a lot of these things. Insert, I wanted to insert an image. I don't think I have any photos. Have any photos? Let's take a look. Yeah, here you go. My dog. Insert. And those are my cute puppies that I decided to insert into my document. And it went into the second page, and it's just that easy. And I believe I could change the image so it got smaller. And notice how I'm changing the image. By changing on the corner, I keep the aspect ratio of the picture. You start doing this sometimes, see how it doesn't look right because it's changing the aspect ratio of the picture. So as long as you drag from the corners, the picture will look like it's supposed to look. And let's see, that will allow me to make changes like that, where I can spin it and do whatever I want with it. Down here, you'll notice this is the spacing, so I can wrap text around it. I can break the text, or I can go inline. So I can make this text as part of my document. So you can insert photos. I can insert a table, and the insert table is actually pretty easy, as you can see. I can do a drawing, charts, so I can add charts, lines, and so everything that's in here, everything that's in there, it's all pretty, if you use the word process before, it's pretty self-explanatory. You've probably done it once before. Let me see, I got something in the chat. So you can crop it, yes. Yeah, that's not really called cropping. The question was, can you crop it? Oh, can you crop it? I don't think I've ever cropped it. Let's try it. All I was doing is just changing the size. Can you crop it? I don't think so. Image options, size, rotate, adjustments. I don't think it could, because cropping normally would be like, I want to just take dogs in there and take out my living room. I don't know if I can crop it. There's an insert image tool. No, I don't think you can crop it here, and I think what you'd have to do is put it into like paint. What's that?
Has size and rotation and adjustments. Those aren't cropping?
No, because cropping usually, if let's say I just wanted the dogs on the couch and I wanted to get rid of all the background, that's cropping, where I'm actually cutting part of the picture out. Here, I'm just changing the size, right? I can make it bigger or smaller, and I can rotate it. Cropping, I'm actually editing the actual picture itself. I don't think this allows you to crop. Unless I'm missing something. Let's keep looking. Insert it, because there's an insert image.
I think if you go to that middle box, you might be able to crop from there. That's how I do it.
This one here?
You have three at the top. If you go to the middle one.
Oh, okay.
That's how I usually crop.
That's not cropping. That's just changing the height of the.
Yeah, or it might also do it in edit.
Let's take a look at edit. Select, delete, copy, paste, no. Format. Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
crop
I
image.
know it's up there somewhere.
Oh, yes, thank you. See?
No problem.
And the teacher learned something new. You guys are the best. So now I'm cropping. So let's go with, there you go. So Anna, yes, I can crop. I have to put it in a text box and then crop. But yeah, it's not, that's really not a text box. What it was the format. So format image and then crop, right? And then that's the cropping, the crop box or whatever. Crop box. That doesn't sound right at all. That's the cropping. That's the crop box, and that's how you would do it. And then and it also gives you the option to just say, you know what, let me just reset it because I really screwed it up and I want to fix it. But yeah, you can't do it. So under format, image, and then you got image options. You can replace the image with something else. I can crop it. And let me see what image options does. I don't see anything with image options. Maybe that's image options. So as you can see with format, and then under formatting, yes, I've done that. Okay. So now I come in here and I want to put some bullets. So I got a numbered list. So let's do this. So this is a list. I can make a numbered list. I can make a bullet list. So this is allowing you to do all this, headers and footers, line spacing. If I want to do, 1 in the 15th, single spaces, double spaces, add space before a list. anything, just about anything you can do. Basic things, I can make them multiple columns if I want. I can align an indent, and that's what that was up there on, okay, there's the image on me. So I can do that right here. Which was, where's the align? What happened to it? Did I lose it? There it is. This is all the alignment I can do. All right. So as you can see, you can do a lot of different things. In your tools, you've got your spell check, word count, suggested editing, and compare documents. That's new, as they say. Citations. Thank you. You're welcome. They pay me for it. I'm here for you. So dictionary, God knows we all need that. You want to be a voice typing. Don't worry about the script edit. That's if you were actually a programmer and wanted to actually write code for this, you could. Add-ons, there's a tons of add-ons that you can do. I would highly recommend looking out because just about anything you want to do, somebody's probably made an add-on for it. There's some really good things out there. So getting late. And so there's tons of good stuff out there. Any questions? Did I tried to answer, did I answer most of your questions? That's what I'm hoping. Because I do these things and I want you to walk away. Good, I got a thumbs up. Marta, is that Marta? Did I say that correct, Marta? I'm glad I helped you. So please, if the only way you're gonna learn this stuff is to play around, grab somebody else that you know and say, hey, do me a favor. Got a few minutes to share a file. Let's play around with it. Let me see what I can do. Play around with the sharing options. Google Forms. If you get comfortable with Google Docs, start playing around with Google Forms. I'm going to tell you, once you're happy with Google Forms, you'll use it constantly. If you're a teacher and you got to make a quick test, Google Forms is good for that. It'll correct itself, especially if it's multiple choice. Even better. I don't have to correct it. It'll grade it myself. It'll tell me who got what wrong. So if I gave that test to 25 students, it'll tell me 5 of them got answer 1 right, question 1 right. Everybody got question 2 right. So I can see which questions they're not getting. I can easily reteach those topics that they're falling down on. So it's really quick. It's really easy. You can get email responses. You can put it into a Google Sheet. You can keep it for data. If you have to do data collection, because God knows I got to do data collection. I don't know where all that data goes after I give it to my administrator, but I have to do data collection. So anyway, it'll do it for you. And then you get into Google Sheets and you get into Excel kind of stuff. It just keeps growing. So, but the basic thing is once you understand Google Drive and you understand the you understand how things are shared. All right, so you're all welcome. I'm happy I was able to help you guys, and I always keep it real, EG. I'm not a fake phony person. So, and I make a lot of mistakes, and I keep trying. So you guys be safe too, and please don't be afraid to send out and email me if you have any questions. Just remind me if you're in my class, because I'll only remember probably Anna. It's the only one because I picked on Anna, so that's what I'll remember her. But really, all kidding aside, if you run into a problem, I'm more than happy to help you guys. Share the other doc. What other doc do you want me to share? I didn't really do anything else. Thank you. You're welcome.
The one that you was gonna show us how to share, the first one that you.
I did share it with you guys.
Chat. Yeah, so they could just click on it and then save it.
Right, so do a right click, copy, and it'll save it. You want me to do that right now? I can do that.
I think they did it. It's in there.
Yeah, so I shared the 100 Google tricks. So if you go to your share with me folder, right click on it and make a copy, it'll go into your My Drive and now you own it. Does that make sense? All right, guys, it's time to go. I said two. Did I say I had two to give you? I don't remember having two. I only had the one. I don't have another one for you. I guess I can make one up really easy, but I don't have one. Oh yeah, I have to have a sense of humor. You are correct. If you don't have a sense of humor, you can't do this job. So, hey, look, good luck to everybody. Be safe. And like I said, please don't be afraid to email me out. Email me, and I'll be more than happy to help anybody with anything. That's what I like to do. Okay. You guys have a great night. Thank you
Okay.
so much.